Let's talk about how to take creative journaling into our planners. Hey y'all, I'm Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and we are continuing the From the Vault series. This summer, while I am moving and setting up a new space, I thought it would be fun to pull out a few videos that used to be exclusive to my Patreon members, some past projects that we have done over on Patreon, and bring them over to YouTube. If you are looking for some new fresh content, there are new videos popping up on Patreon each and every week. But for now, we're going to continue From the Vault creative journaling. This time we're taking creative journaling into our planner. This was part of a longer creative journaling series that we did over on Patreon. Some of those videos you have seen over here on YouTube, but today specifically focuses on ways you can take those journaling techniques and incorporate them into your weekly planning. All right, so we have been talking a lot about creative journaling, about how to set up a routine, about how to kind of make a plan for the types of things you want to creative journal, how to start diving a little bit deeper in your creative journaling. And one of the things that I've tried to emphasize over and over is that there are no rules. Creative journaling inherently is whatever you want it to be. So it can occur anywhere. You do not have to have a dedicated creative journal. You don't have to do it in a bullet journal. You don't have to do it in a dedicated planner even, or a notebook, or whatever it is. You can add creative journaling in wherever fits for you. And I think that that is actually one of the roots of decorative planning. So planners are something that we've often had since we were kids. I remember getting my first planner sometime in elementary or middle school. And I also remember always being excited to get a new one at the beginning of the year. And I wrote all kinds of things in the planner. You're keeping track of, your school assignments, your after school activities back in the day. And then as we got older, our planners somehow started to morph and decorative planning was born, and I am here for it. So my planner, the planner I use to keep track of my life, to set goals, to work lists and schedules and all of that, also serves as my creative journal most days. And I add different things to it to make that possible. So some of you asked, this is my vision board. It's a vision board I created with my business coach at the beginning of the year. It has my word of the year, and I put it in my planner. I could have this in a creative journal, but it's in my planner because my planner is serving as my creative journal. This planner holds all kinds of thoughts and feelings and plans and goals. And so having my vision board at the front, you can add pages to your planner that are pages that inspire you, that are pages that help you work through different things, that are all kinds of inspiration. And that's one of the bonuses of something like a disc style planner, is that you can add these extra pages in as you want. So you can see I kind of did that at the beginning of the year. I have my vision board. I have what I want my word of the year to mean for me. Some other thoughts on intentionality that I wanted to include. Those are right up there at the front. You can include them in any spot in your planner. As I go through my planner, we get to the functionality, to the pre-planning, your currently page. So mine's still not filled in, decorated, still not filled in. This is a great place to have creative journaling prompts, to have some reflection questions. If you're someone that feels like creative journaling takes a long time, once a month is not so bad, and you can come back to this page and just fill it in little by little. I'll probably fill mine in towards the end of the month more as a reflection, but there's lots of ways to work those prompts into your planner. On your monthly layout, I use mine for scheduling. Not everyone needs the room that I need in order to do scheduling. Something you can do that I've seen done is using this as a place to answer prompts. Maybe this is your gratitude list. Maybe this is where you're just journaling sweet highlights from the day and you're keeping them in here. This is another great place to include it. And then, of course, you can come to your regular weekly layouts. Of course, we want these to be really functional for us. We want to see what's happening. We want to know what's coming up. but there's always spots and places where you can add reflection points. And that's something that I've done multiple times. I have some different place, just look at this right here. Sunday Scaries, feeling like I just want to be in a bad mood. Just jotting down thoughts. I fill it in for me throughout the week. When I have blanks, then I just put in thoughts. I write out, things that I'm listening to, things that I'm catching up on. And so like here, this past week. This has been a crazy week. So much going on this weekend. I need to chill at the beginning of next week. So little points of reflection can happen in these daily or these weekly layouts. Again, it doesn't have to be something that's really time consuming, I guess you would say. It can come into your regular planning routine. So as you're planning your week, and that's a great way to do it because it's working in that self-care, that journaling, that time to reflect into your everyday. I'm going to flip over again to some daily pages. So that's another place where I do a lot of creative journaling. Look, simple decorations, and then I just do a little journaling prompt. Stop thinking you have to do a million things all the time. Start celebrating an awesome month. Just little reflection points throughout my month. I choose to be proud of myself, setting affirmations. I make space in that daily journaling to write what's going on, to have some reflection, to show my gratitude. I always start out with gratitude. And this is just in my regular planner. So is this functional? Yes, because I have my to-do list, I have the schedule, I have all of that, but then I've left myself spaces to add in. It's not a whole separate page. It doesn't have to be, but for me, it works out really well to have that reflection point to start my day. And I start most of my weekdays, and then you'll see Saturdays and Sundays tend to be blank because I don't necessarily come and look at my journal on that particular day. So there's all kinds of ways to do it. Another way that I really like spending time creative journaling is in what I call my creative journal planner. Now, slightly behind, so I haven't done it since last Thursday. We're on Tuesday right now. This is the layout I did on a live stream, and we're going to do another layout this week. But what I like about this is that I can go back, and sometimes I'll go back to my dailies, look what I wrote, and then reflect on that and kind of fill it in. I don't always do this every night. It does feel really good when I do sit down with my planner in the evening and reflect on this. However, I go back and fill it in as I have time and as I see fit, and I have really enjoyed this whole process. So that's something that I have really been liking, and I happen to use the stress management layout. A lot of people enjoy the horizontal layout for this. A lot of people go to the vertical layout with the 3 boxes for 3 gratitude or 3 highlights of the day, something like that. There's all kinds of different ways that you can use it. And so take a moment and figure out what's going to work best for you. There's all different ways to incorporate your creative journaling into something that you are already doing. I just want you to not think it has to be overwhelming, has to be a whole new activity, because it doesn't. All right, so today we are going to creative journal. I'm going to set up my layout for next week. I know that that's probably seems silly since I haven't even caught up with the end of that week. That's okay. I'll take some time. I'll do that. But we're going to get it set up for next week. I have been saving these stickers from Pipsticks. These are macaroni and cheese themed stickers. And something you should know about me is that I am obsessed with macaroni and cheese. It's my favorite. It's my comfort food. I love macaroni and cheese. It's by far my favorite food. I love the, like good old style Kraft macaroni and cheese is my go-to. So I've been saving these for a creative journal layout because I needed to have them. I kind of wish I had more just so I could hoard them, but I'm going to use them. Use your stickers. And then I pulled out a couple of books. The coloring sticker book from the Happy Planner, I think would be a really fun one to use because you can bring in all the colors, all the different colors you want. So I'm going to bring this book in, and then I actually pulled out the recipe sticker book from the Happy Planner, another oldie but a goodie. That I think I'll be able to use some bits and pieces from possibly as well. So I will put you guys on fast forward. I'm not sure if these are still available. I'll look and see over on the Happy Planner website and link them if I can find them. These are from Pipsticks. This is from February 2023 if you're looking for this specific sticker. All right, Let's plan. All right, so for this spread, I've pulled out a couple of different washi tapes that are grid washi tapes, one in the orange and one in the blue. I feel like that picks up the colors of the macaroni and cheese. And we're just gonna rip the washi tape. I like starting with washi tape on these particular spreads just because I feel like it breaks up all of the lines. There's a lot of lines on the stress management layout. There's a lot of lines kind of on any happy planner spread, but this breaks it up a little bit, gives it a different look, and it's gonna help me bring in these two colors on the page right away. I'm not gonna lie, I struggled with this washi tape a little bit. It kept sticking to itself. I should have put it down on, like, you attach one end down on the paper and then tear. That makes it a lot easier. It doesn't get caught on itself, because then you see how it starts rolling, and then it's a whole thing, and it was hard to get it in and out of itself, and it was a struggle on this particular day, but eventually I conquered the washi tape and it all got down on the page. So we're combining the blue to kind of represent Kraft macaroni and cheese, because that's my go-to, and then the orange had the orangish yellow color that you think of with that type of macaroni and cheese. And let's just cover up the top. So I actually don't use this top the way it's intended. Normally you're checking off some wellness practices like journaling and breathing, and those are great things to do. I just haven't ended up using this particular layout in that way. All right, so here's where I learned my lesson. You put the bottom, see how you just put the bottom down and it just tears so much easier? I should have done that from the beginning. So learn a lesson from me and just put part of it down if you're wanting to tear, and then tear from the other end, if that makes sense. All right, washi tape down, ready to move on with the rest of the spread. So it's funny, I ended up grabbing this recipe sticker book because of some of the bold colors. I'm actually not going to use any recipe type things from this book. We're not even using the food themed things. So this one is all about your weekly meal planning, but I'm going to cover up that sticker at the top because I want this to be a weekly gratitude. This is going to be kind of like one thing you were thankful for. I do gratitude at the beginning of the day, but I think it would be good at the end of the day, one thing that happened that day that you are grateful for. So that's what that one is going to be over there. And then I'm looking for some more colors. This orange, definitely a color I want to bring out. So we're going to add this over here. This will end up being whatever I want it to be. It's a list, a bulleted list. It's supposed to be a grocery list, but we're going to change it up once we get to that part of the week. I have a couple of different phrases in here that do relate to eating that I want to include. This one, because it brings in yellow, fits nicely over there, and it says happiness is homemade. I think that is very sweet. And then the orange one I had will come in later. All right, in this coloring piece, I think these are fun stickers to use, because I find coloring very relaxing. So being able to color during the week I thought would be very fun. I'll end up pre-coloring some of these, I guess you'd say. I'd go ahead and put the color down on a couple of these stickers, but I do leave a couple of them uncolored because I thought it'd be a fun activity to do to unwind during the week, which is one of the purposes for creative journaling, giving yourself a little outlet to unwind and to, get in touch with that creativity, even if it's just for 5 minutes in a day. I still think it's really important. So let's add a couple more stickers from this book. This is one I haven't used nearly enough, so that is definitely needs to come up in my sticker order, I guess you would say, like a book I need to grab for a little bit more often. I'm actually going to put a checklist right here because I want to bring the orange over this way and I want to bring a little more yellow to the other side. So let's add a yellow one here. And that's pretty good as far as the stickers from these books. Now I'm going to grab some Tombow pens because that checklist doesn't really fill up the space the same way it's intended. What I'm going to do is just add a little box around it and some other mid boxes. What I'll probably put in these particular areas are just memories from that day, maybe big highlights of the day, maybe a list of some sort of something I'm working through that day. There's definitely some different options. So I'm going to add that little checklist look right there, and then I'll do the same thing but with the yellow where I ended up putting the other yellow checklist sticker. Once I get those boxes all set, then it's really about decorating and having fun with the spread. This was a celebration of something that I love, which is macaroni and cheese. And I think that's a cool thing to get to do in your creative journal, is celebrate those little things that you love that kind of speak to you. And macaroni and cheese is just one of those foods. Let me know if you have a food that just speaks to you, that is like your go-to comfort food. It's just always been macaroni and cheese for me. I love a lot of different foods. I'm definitely a foodie type person, but give me a box of Kraft mac and cheese on a hard day, and yes, please. That is like something I love to do. So you can see I'm going to end up coloring in those little ribbons because I think it's like a celebration of mac and cheese right there. So I'll end up coloring in those all the way. But otherwise, I'm just putting the mac and cheese pieces all over the page. I think it's a fun kind of challenge with these pip sticks, especially to use all of the stickers at once because there's just so many of them and so many different sizes, and it really creates a very full looking spread. Is this a little bit corny, a little bit cheesy, if you will? See what I did there? It is, but that's okay. It doesn't mean I can't get serious on this spread as far as what I'm writing down, as far as feelings and things like that. But it does mean that when I open up to this spread to work on it throughout the week, it means it's going to bring a smile to my face. And I think that's an important aspect of using your creativity in your planner, is to just bring you joy throughout the week as you are working on those pages. I hope this video inspired you, gave you a few ideas of how you can incorporate your creative journaling into your planner that you might not have thought of before. Let me know in the comments below if you like to combine the two, or if you prefer to have your creative journal time separate from your planner. How do you like for it to flow in your life? Let me know in the comments below. And if you have any other ideas of how you can incorporate some journaling into kind of your everyday planner, I would also love to hear from you down in the comments below. All right, that's pretty much going to be it for this page. I'm just going to pop it back into my planner, and now it's all set, ready to go for me to journal. It's time for me to catch up on a little bit of journaling from this past week. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you are enjoying having some time to use your creativity, to use your journaling, and just to relax and have fun. All right, I hope that you have a fabulous day. And as always, keep it creative.